In Episode 3, Chai Yu pressured Qian Shou into getting the Salt Gang to support the Chai family in their duel against Zi Jin Hall, but Qian Shou secretly plotted treason to destroy the Chai family and Zi Jin Hall. Meanwhile, Yaoshi was forced by Qian Shou to choose between killing his best friend, Ouyang Feng, to save Feng Heng, or letting Feng Heng die. At the Kuiwa Din gambling table, Ouyang Feng faced Chai Qiong, an elder of the Chai family who had retired from the martial arts world. Ouyang Feng not only lost at the gambling table, but also in combat, leaving him devastated.
And here's the story that continues, Episode 4 of Eastern Heretic and West Venom.
Ouyang Feng, who suffered total defeat at both the gambling table and in the fight, instructed his subordinates to keep his loss a secret. At the stable, Yaoshi approached Ouyang Feng, who still looked dejected. Ouyang invited Huang to eat together, although both admitted they were not very hungry. Qian Shou spoke to Shi Qi, his follower who had brought his son's body. He asked Shi Qi to stay by his side and even treat him like his own son. Qian Shou asserted that a man would do anything for a woman. He was certain Huang Yaoshi would kill Ouyang Feng for Feng Heng. Although Shu Qi suggested summoning a martial artist, Hu explained that few could match Yaoshi.
Hu ordered that Huang Yaoshi be notified when Huang Yaoshi returned, as he had only one trump card, the 3-day soul-losing powder poison he had given Feng Heng.
In the restaurant, Huang Yaoshi expressed a heavy burden on his heart. He revealed that he had learned the name of the woman who had shaken his heart, Feng Heng. Huang felt himself caught in a dilemma. The head of the Salt Gang, Qian Shou, had poisoned Feng Heng with 3 days powder. This poison could only be neutralized gradually each day. Qian Shou forced Huang to choose between his friendship with Ouyang or saving her. One must die so the other can live. Ouyang was enraged hearing this. He accused Huang of only looking out for himself. He explained that he had recently lost at the gambling table and in a fight, and now Huang wanted to take his own life? Huang Yaoshi regretted his words and apologized. To make amends, Huang went to the gambling den, hoping to win back Ouyang Feng's loss. At the gambling table, Huang, who had no money, wagered an ancient jade flute from Mount Kunlun. Tension escalated as Chai Qiong repeatedly lost against Huang Yaoshi in a game of Pai Go. Bet after bet increased, yet Chai Qiong kept losing. In the final bet, Huang Yaoshi made a strange condition. If Chai Qiong won, he could keep all the gold bet. But if Chai Qiong lost, he had to personally deliver the gold to his friend Ouyang Feng, who was at the restaurant. And it turns out that Chai Qiong lost again. Meanwhile, at the restaurant, men from Zi Jin Hall appear, led by Pan Ji, one of the 5 trades and 8 crafts. Pan Ji explained that they came not to fight, but to escort their young lady, Dan Min, to meet Ouyang Feng. Tan Men calmly initiated the conversation, asking Ouyang if she wanted to eat or chat first. However, Ouyang's failure to immediately recognize her, which offended Tan Men emphasized that she had deliberately dressed differently this time. Ouyang found Tan Men's old style much more comfortable and simple than her new, ornate look. Zhao, Ouyang Feng's subordinate, entered and warned them to be careful of possible poison in the food or drink. However, Tan Men assured them that he had 5 bodyguards with him, so there was no reason for him to poison them. He then ordered all the bodyguards to wait outside. Dan Min tried to get close to Ouyang Feng by asking him to eat and drink with him,
but Ouyang said he was not hungry.
Ouyang also emphasized that he was not the perpetrator of the murder in Bao County. Tan Min stated she already knew that. She only came to talk to Ouyang, not to arrest him. The presence of his bodyguards was solely for precaution, not for fighting. Tan Min showed his sincerity in carrying out this action, something she had never done for anyone else.
A depressed Ouyang Feng asked Tan Min to stop eating and speak directly. Tan Min began to open up, revealing her background. She identified her brother, Tan Xingbien, as the leader of Zi Jin Hall and one of the strongest warriors in Song.
Since the age of 16, she had been matched with high-ranking men 3 times, but all of them had failed. She proudly asserted that none of them had dared to hit her, except Ouyang Feng. Tan Min tries to seduce Ouyang by openly confessing her love for him. She is willing to abandon everything for Ouyang Feng and is ready to travel the world with him. She even recalls Ouyang Feng's words, that when you meet the one you love, a day with him is like a lifetime. She believes Ouyang is that man. However, Ouyang flatly rejects her. He calls Tan Min crazy and annoying. Ouyang instead wants revenge for the death of his subordinate, Li, who was killed at the Kuaizhou prefectural office.
Suddenly, Tan Min fell down unsteadily.
Tensions rose when it is revealed that their food and drink have been poisoned. They accuse each other of poisoning. After being convinced that Ouyang Feng had no intention of poisoning her, Tan Min again tried to seduce Ouyang.
However, Ouyang once again refused.
Tan Min, whose love was openly rejected by Ouyang Feng, becomes enraged and attacks him. Hearing the commotion, several of Tan Min's men entered the restaurant.
Ouyang Feng, who was also poisoned, began to weaken.
Meanwhile, outside, Zhao Wei, Ouyang Feng's subordinate, was fighting with Pan Ji and Pu Yan. Unexpectedly, Pu Yan attacked his own colleague Pan Ji from behind. It was revealed that Pu Yan was also working for the Salt Gang for a higher salary. The situation escalated when T-Lin and T-Sen from the Chai family suddenly appeared. T-Lin kidnapped Tan Min. Tan Min's guards pursued T-Lin. However, outside, they encountered Pu Yan, who claimed that Xiao Wei, Ouyang Feng's subordinate, had harmed Pan Ji. A dying Pan Ji tried to tell them that Pu Yuan was a traitor, but he died too soon. Meanwhile, Ouyang Feng seemed to be weakening. Tai Sen approached him, intending to kill Ouyang to avoid witnesses. At a critical moment, Chai Qiong, the elder of the Chai family, appeared and drove Tai Sen away. Chai Qiong was planning to deliver Ouyang Feng's gold, as ordered by Huang Yaoshi. Before leaving, he helped treat Zhao Wei. Huang Yaoshi met with Qian Shou, the head of the Salt Gang. He stated that Huang could take Feng Heng, but offered a compromise. For 3 days, Feng Heng would be taken by train to Jiangshou for treatment. Huang was allowed to accompany the group and visit Feng Heng daily. After 3 days, Huang could take Feng Heng away. Huang Yaoshi visited Feng Heng. He was impressed by Feng Heng's extensive knowledge of cooking and herbs. Feng Heng admitted that she had read many books since childhood and always remembered everything she read.
Huang then told her about his childhood on Mount Kunlun. At the age of 10, he used himself as an experiment to treat a frail girl. The early years were filled with suffering, even near death.
But over time, their relationship blossomed into a deep love. They lived together, supporting each other like two fruits growing from the same vine.
During those years, they shared hardship, happiness, and love. Until the 9th year, the girl who was almost dying said, "Live well, as long as possible." These words remained etched in his heart, and they were also the words Feng Heng spoke to her. Thus concludes the 4th episode of Eastern Heretic and Western Venom. The intrigue deepens, secrets are revealed, and the destiny of the warriors becomes increasingly unpredictable. Wang Yaoshi and Ouyang Feng's friendship, Tan Min's deep love for Ouyang, and Pu Yan's betrayal by killing his comrade, Han Ji, all intertwine, bringing them closer together in a life and death battle. What will happen next? Find out in episode 5. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed this story full of intrigue and battle, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the epic story in the next episode. See you in episode 5.